for our little event for Jaipur Slack chapter. And I guess I'm not gonna keep you guys waiting anymore. Let's just get started. So, welcome. It's another event. It's a second event for us today that we are planning. So, moving on with that, uh, a little bit introduction about me. I'm Gaurav Singh. I'm a leader of the Jaipur Slack chapter, and I'm a consultant at Prices. And I'm also a Salesforce marketing champion. You can follow me on Twitter and LinkedIn with my Twitter handle here. And with that, moving on. So today's our agenda is to empower your team's collaboration. What we are focused on today is just to how you guys can leverage Slack when it comes to managing a project. If I'm gonna talk about me personally, like you would have been in a situation where you are managing a project, and then it comes to communicating with your team, communicating with the clients, your project managers. So how Slack can literally help you out to reduce that hassle when it comes to communicate with your team members and the client, and that's what we're going to discuss today. And with that, I would like to introduce, my honorable speaker today, Prakash Arora. He is a lead Salesforce consultant at Prices and also a certified application architect. And the best part is, you know what? He is a Slack certified admin. So I would recommend you to guys to pay attention what he presents today because he have been through the communication channels. He have worked on multiple communication channels, and today we will be discussing like how Slack can literally improve that gap that we feel when we communicate with our team during a project management. So with that, okay, a swag alert. We will have a quiz at the end of the session, so I would recommend everybody to pay attention to what we study today. And there might be a few questions which could be generic, and I am assuming that you might know about those answers. Some question would be generic. I'm not trying to keep it more technical, but some generic questions. And then there are two more swags for the people who will promote this session on the LinkedIn and Twitter. So we will be choosing one from the LinkedIn and the one from the Twitter, and we will get to know about it by the end of the day today. But make sure you spread the word, and you might want to take a screenshot or keep this keep this slide saved. My apologies. Yeah, can you guys see the slide? Yep, you can share it in an order to share it on LinkedIn and Twitter. Make sure you tag Jacob Gross. He's our community lead from Slack. Okay. All right. Well, I guess with that, we can get started. Just a second. Yep.
Uh, am I audible, guys?
Yep.
Gaurav, am I audible?
Yep. You're audible.
Perfect. Okay. So just give me a minute. I'm just sharing my screen. Gaurav, should I
I've
get
stopped
shared?
sharing.
Yeah.
You can start it now.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
I really
Okay.
appreciate your patience, guys. Let's get started. Let's become a Slack savvy today. Handing it over to you.
Um, just a minute, Gaurav. Like I need to stop sharing and share it again.
Mhm.
So are you guys getting it on the full screen or a different kind of mode?
It's a presenter mode.
It's a presenter mode, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. What's now?
Still the presenter mode.
Okay. Yeah, just give me a minute. I just need to check it.
Somewhere. Yeah, yeah,
Is
it
it
looks, yeah, yeah.
good now, right? Okay, perfect. Okay. Thank you for the patience, guys. So as Gaurav already introduced me, so I recently, acquired the Slack certified admin. It was my third attempt to acquire the certification, and I made a considerable amount of study to being a certified admin, Slack certified admin. Okay, so maybe before starting it, I just wanted to thank Gaurav first for introducing me, and then secondly, this session that we are going on, it's a high level summary of how what are the things that you should know about Slack to start with, and then we'll definitely have more sessions in the future where we'll talk about uh, the workflows, maybe about some of the core fundamental skills that has been needed to make your Slack a good collaboration tool in your organization, enterprise organization. Okay, so this session will be a lot of will have a lot of summaries and tips and bits about to start working on Slack, and maybe in future we'll have more sessions. Okay, so I'll start with fundamentals of Slack. So we'll have this summary which we are talking about, like fundamentals, then workspace administration, channel, what are the channel groups, life life cycle management, and a little bit about the securities. Okay, so we'll start with fundamentals. And okay, so before starting again, if you guys have any question, just put it out in chat. We'll pause for a minute in maybe in half session, or maybe at the end of the session, to know about your questions, or to take out all the questions. Okay. Okay. So when people talk about Slack, I think you can easily go and sign up for the you just go to slack.com and sign up for the Slack. That's a free plan. Okay, when I say it's a free plan, you haven't paid for it, to collaborate with with the different people that you are that will be on your workspace. So um, you will definitely know about the free plans, but I just wanted to know more about what are the different plans that are available. The reason being, when we work on the Slack, and when we work in an enterprise, or maybe a small business or a medium sized business, we generally need more collaboration, more features to enable. So we'll talk about plans and role first, and then we'll move on to other different features. Okay, so there are different Slack plans, which we call it paid plans. The reason why we're calling it paid plans is because when you sign up, it's a free plan, but then you can move and get more features out of it. So there are four different plans to it: Pro, Business Plus, Enterprise Grid, and Government Slack plan, which we call it as Go Slack plan, right? So Pro plan is the okay. And when we have different plans, when I'm talking about different plans, every plan that we are talking about will have a feature of the lower plan plus more features that other plan offers. Like for example, when you talk about business plan, it will have all the features that Pro plan offers, plus new features or additional feature that you're talking about. Okay, so Pro and business plans generally talks about the small and medium sized industries, where you have lesser number of people, you don't need more collaboration, you don't have different business units, like you only have um, uh, fewer number of people managing all your stuff, like sales, pre-sales. But then when you have an enterprise kind of plans, where you have different business units, where you have different kind of verticalization, horizontal and vertical stuffs, and when you have more people, like 3,000, 4,000 people in an organization, then you need to go up, and then that kind of plan will be enterprise grid plan. Okay, and then there is a government Slack plan. So this government Slack plan is specifically for US federal government right now, which, because they have a different compliance, like FedRAMP ITR compliance, we'll talk about it. So they have a different compliance that need to be adhered to them. So for that, they have a different government Slack plans. It looks similar to how Pro or business plan look like, but then it has different kind of features, which complies the standards of US federal government. Okay. Okay, so we'll quickly talk about all the different plans that is available right now. So pro plan is okay. So when you download the free plan, you will have certain limitations to it, right? You cannot go like one limitation that you will generally encounter is your retention policies. So when I talk about retention policy, that means when you're talking to someone, you generally talk directly, which is DM, direct messages, or you talk in channels, right? Which is again a tool for combining a lot of different people, right? So you have a you don't they have a retention policies of I think 30 days or 15 days. Means after that you won't be able to see, if you are on a free plan you won't be able to see messages after 15 or 30 days. I'm not sure about 15 or 30 days, it just recently changed, but there is a minimum number of days after which you won't be able to see the messages. But now with the pro plan you will have an unlimited, you can see messages. By the time you have the plan, you can see messages in lifetime, right? Other than that you will have a different, different features like voice huddles. So huddles are like, video call. So in if you're working in a different collaboration tool, if you know about it, that's fine. If you don't know about it, like there is an analogy to video calls. You'll have video calls in WhatsApp, you'll also have a video call where you can have different people, coming in, and you can talk to them on the videos, you can collaborate. So this is huddles. So you can have voice first huddles and video huddles as well. So huddles is analog to the video calls. You will have unlimited message history where you can search your messages unlimited way, and there is no removal of messages uh, until unless you opt out of pro plans. Okay, you will have Slack Connect channel. We talk about Slack Connect channel. It's a very important features. You will have canvases. Again, canvas is something you just need to remember for now. Okay, when we are discussing this summary, there are a lot of things that you need to remember. When I say remember, is something you need to know about it, and you just need to remember about the stuff that Slack provides. But then there are things which you can always relate with the different the different maybe features to the different collaboration tool. But I think canvas is the one thing that you need to remember. We'll discuss it more when we have different hands-on sessions. Okay, and then you have unlimited apps and workflow. Okay, when we move to business plan, you will have all the features available for the pro plan, plus you will have 99% guaranteed uptime. Okay, what do you mean by uptime is like Slack is again a server where which to run it on your server. When you have your own Slack plan, when you're working on a Slack plan, you want it up and running. So if you're on the business plan, the Slack team keep uh, you can trust on them, like they can keep it up like 99.99%, right? There is using provisioning and deprovisioning. We'll learn about it in a bit. There is an SML based SSO. I think SSO is something you all know. It's a single sign-on. uh, Canvas is again for pro plan, it's a 30 days. For business plans it's just 90 days. And then you can data export all the messages, like an admin can export all the messages, which is again a different feature when you need to, when you have a bigger organization and you wanted some kind of compliance or something, then you can export the data. Enterprise grid plan. So this plan works when you have a bigger enterprise, when you have a different business units to work upon. Again, this will have all the features that is available in the business plus plan, plus you will have more features like unlimited workspaces. Okay, so we'll talk about workspace. What is workspace? What workspace an organization is? But for now, you can think of it as like different business units. So in an enterprise grid plan, you can create a lot of different business units, and every business unit corresponds to a workspace, right? So you can create unlimited workspace. You can have a lot of workspace. You can create a channel that can collaborate between two workspace, which we generally call it multi workspace channels, right? You can search across the organization, which is a very good tool, a search tool. And this tool is something I should say we can individually talk about, because it's a very big tool that enables a lot of features like searching around your enterprises. Then you have app management. So like admins who is either administrating the workspace or who is administrating the org can have their own dashboards and management tools where they can manage it, which is not available in other tools, right? Then you have discovery APIs and data loss prevention partners. They have a discovery APIs enabled, which you can can have a third party collaboration with a third party discovery app. We'll talk about it in a bit. Then you have admin APIs. So these are again some APIs enables which either you can look out into on the dashboards, or you have API enables which you can you know use to get your data back to some other third party as well. Okay, and then you have domain claiming. So domain claiming means, let's say if you wanted to take your own company's domain name, that is something available in enterprise grid plan. Okay. There is again a government Slack plan which we are not talking about because it is very related to US federal government. So the companies who are working on US, they need to have some kind of compliance standard to like compliance standard like FedRAMP, which is risk and assessment management compliance. Then there are ITAR, which is like you cannot talk about US militaries, or maybe not. It's not like you cannot talk about, but it should be regulated around if you're talking about militaries, US militaries or something. So they have a different compliance, and they wanted US federal government wanted whosoever is working in the US vicinity, that they need to keep that particular compliance standard to be enabled. So government Slack pen have it enabled, and they can you can just buy the companies can just buy with the following compliances. Okay, perfect. Okay, so now we'll talk about the roles. What are the different roles that are available? Okay. So when before I think we start discussing on roles, we need to discuss about what are the different type of roles available, and at what levels, right? So when you are on a pro or business plan, you will only have two different kind of you will only have a single workspace. So it's a single workspace where you have an only workspace, and every workspace will have channels, DMs, right? Your own apps, your own integrations, your own workflows. But when you talk about an organization, right? So it can have a lot of workspace, multi workspace, channels that can in multi workspace, a channel which is in all workspace, a channel which can be in two or three workspace. So but since then, if you have a different kind of channels available, if you have a different kind of workspace available, you should have a different kind of roles available as well, right? So first I think we should talk about workspace level roles, right? And in the workspace level roles, you are having a two different roles, like non-administrative or administrative. So administratives are those who administrate your workspace, and non-administrative are those who are like, let's say, uh, you being added to this to a workspace. So you can be a member, you can be a guest, you can be an invited member. So let's talk about what different non-administrative role are. So one is invited members. So the invited members are those members who actually are invited, but they haven't accepted the invitation. Okay. So think of as if you can see the screen right now, you can see this Adrian has been invited, but he is not right now in the on the workspace, right? Or he cannot have access to the Slack. So mail can go to the particular person saying that you are welcome to ECME. ECME is the name of the workspace. So he is invited to it, but he has not accepted the invitation. But then if a member is invited, can you can just mention him somewhere as well. Like even if he's an invited member, you can mention him somewhere. You can mention him channels. You can DM him as well. But whatever you whatever you talk to an invited members, he will get his notification on the emails. The guy on the email can reply as well on the email. So when he replies on the email, he or she replies on the emails. The reply get into the Slack channel, but the reply or sending of the email is only happening through emails. He is just invited, right? So that's an invited member. Okay. um, then there are guests. So guests are those members who are your external contractors. So let's suppose in your organization you wanted a contractor or an intern, or maybe you have some digital marketing team who is working with you. You have a website team who's working with you. So you wanted them to be for a particular period of time, and maybe you're taking an interview, right? So when you're taking an interview from an organization, you wanted that particular person to be in your Slack for some period of time. Now they can be invited like a guest. Okay. So guest is another form of roles that can be that are in the system. and they are for a limited number of time, and they have very limited access. Now when we're talking about guest, there are two type of guest. One is single channel guest, and then there is multi channel guest, right? So a guest who is a single channel guest means he can see, he or she can see things, or he can DM, or he can collaborate in a single channel. But then there is a multi channel guest as well. There are a lot of different things that are attached with a multi channel and single channel. Like single channel guest is like, let's say if you have if you have taken 5 licenses of a user, you can have free 5 guest single channel guest. But then if you have multi channel guest, they are licensed, or they are treated as a member. But single channel is, a guest is collaborating in a single channel, and multi channel is, he or she is collaborating in a multiple level of multi channels. So a multi channel guest is similar to member. Okay, he or she is similar to members. Now member is those who are, have you joined your workspace. So generally a member is someone who is in your organization, right? Or maybe whatever you are collaborating, however you are collaborating, he or she is a member to your organization, and he has different features available. He has different roles, like he can create a channel, he can request for a channel, okay, he can DM, he or she can, uh, maybe uh, create a user group, or maybe he or she can start a huddle. So these kind of features are available when you're in member. Okay, so these are non-administrative role. Then okay, this is how an invite member look like. This is how a guest look like. So when you see a profile of it, you can see a single channel guest seems like a single channel guest, and you can see a half square, and for a multi-channel guest you will see a full square. Okay, then there are administrative roles. So when I talk about administrative role, in a workspace, I'm not talking about organization, it's in a workspace. It's like there are 4 different type of it, like channel manager, admin, owner, and primary owner. To quickly summarize it, a channel manager is like, let's say if a member creates a channel, he or she becomes the channel member. Okay, simple. uh, if or she creates a channel, he or she becomes the channel members. Okay, then he or she can rename the channel, maybe pinpoint something, archive it, delete it. He or she can delete it, but then it needs an admin permission. But he or she can delete it as well. Now then there is a workspace admin. So workspace admin is someone who is delegated by channel manager. So let's say you can have a lot of channel managers, but only one can be a workspace admin. No, sorry, a workspace admin is someone who administrate your whole workspace. uh, Things like creating a channel, maybe if somebody request for a new channel, he or she can maybe request, approve the request, and then install the apps, create an emoji set. So these are the kind of features that a role that workspace admin have. Then you have a workspace owner. So owner is, I think, he or she has the largest, highest level of permission, except he cannot delete the workspace, or he cannot transfer the ownership of the workspace, right? Now you can have a lot of channel managers, you can have a lot of admins, you can have a lot of workspace owner, but you can have only one workspace primary owner. He is single, he or she is single. There is only one workspace primary owner in your whole workspace. And everybody do the jobs like administrating workspace, but the features like billing, authentication, access, security policies is done by workspace primary owner. And keep in mind that a primary owner is always single. Okay, he or she is always single, and he or she can delete the workspace, or maybe he or she can transfer the ownership of the workspace. Okay, uh, the main problem that generally arises when workspace primary owner keep out of, or maybe wanted to move out of workspace, they cannot directly move out. They need to first transfer the ownership, and then they can move out. Okay, okay. Then there are org level roles. So when I talk about the org level roles, they are actually they are actually sitting top of workspace owners admin, right? Like then there are members, then there are workspace admin owners, and then there are org admin owner. I think if you have a very big organization, I think only 2% or 3% of your people are sitting on an organization. Okay, okay, just like there are workspace admin owner and primary owner, similar to that there are org admin, org owner, and org primary owner. Okay, org primary owner is the highest level of administrative role in Slack. They can do anything, they can do anything. Okay, owner is the org owner. They have same permission like org primary owner, but the difference is they cannot transfer the ownership, or they can delete the they cannot delete the whole. Okay. Okay. Now we'll talk about workspace administration. We have talked about what the different roles and plans are. We'll talk about workspace administration. Okay. We'll talk about design and creation. Okay. So when I talk about design and creation in pro and business plan, it's very easy to create or design a workspace. But then when we talk about enterprise design, it's that created a complexity. Okay. When I say it's created a complexity is because generally the role of an admin, a Slack certified admin, generally revolves around when you have an enterprise level of design. You have a different business unit. So when I say you have a different business unit, you generally will have a workspace, different workspace. Now this is debatable, that do you need a different workspace with a different business unit? It's a debatable topic, and it's all depend upon I'm not saying it's a debatable, but it's an admin role that says, do you need a more workspace with respect to business units, or you can have multi workspace channels. Okay, so I'll let you know what multi workspace channels are. Okay, so these are the different workspaces we have. If you can see, it says hash. So hash is the channel. Okay, so there are channels specific to different workspaces, like all companies with all company, accounts with sales, features with engineering, tickets with support, help desk with IT. Then there are then this company wide announcement is a shared channel. Okay, when I say shared channel, means every workspace will have a common default public channel, which we call as it's a default channel, a public channel. You can name it any whatever you wanted to name it. By default, it's a general channel. So whenever you create a workspace, a general channel will be created. When you create a different workspace, if you're on enterprise design, again a general channel can be created. A general shared channel will be there. You can rename it. Okay, so let's say here in this company, they will rename it to company wide organization. So this shared channel, you can see it everywhere. Then you can see a channel that has been shared with two workspaces, like prod launch. Prod launch is something there in sales and engineering. Outage is something there in engineering support. Tooling is in IT service. Acquisition is in marketing, senior managers. So this is a multi workspace channel. This is single workspace channel, and this general channel, public channel. So we'll talk about all the different type of channels that are available. Okay, but this is how an enterprise grid design look like. Means in an enterprise grid plan, these kind of channels and workspaces you will generally see. Okay, now to create a enterprise grid design, you need to keep track of certain things. So I'll briefly talk about it. So a workspace, when you create a workspace, when you are on an enterprise design grid, you will have a lot of workspaces. And as I said, the workspace should be created based on how your information flows, right? Like if you have a different department in your organization, similarly you can create different workspace in your organization, right? You should always create a minimum number of workspace. The reason why we should create minimum number of workspace is because with every workspace you will have an overhead of having workspace admin, owner and primary owner. Then whosoever is admin need to create a lot of administrative tasks. They will have different apps, workflows. So if you keep minimum number of workspace, if it is possible, then you can keep minimum number of workspace, so that there will be less noise around it. Okay, uh, target people talking more into general channels. Like there is as I said, there is general channel which certain companies rename. In this example, we have company wide announcement. So if a lot of people are talking in a single channel, or I would say general channel or a shared channel, then it will be easy for the collaboration. So because it's a collaboration tool, so the best practice is to talk more and more with more transparency. Okay, you can always use multi workspace channel instead of workspaces. So instead of creating a workspace, you create a multi workspace channel, and then you will always have a naming guidelines on your system. There should be a naming guideline in your organization where every channel or multi workspace channel, if it is created, you need to have a space specified guidelines. Okay. Then we are talking about workspace creation. We have seen how design look like, how you can create it. Okay, now this is very important. When you create a workspace, uh, you have an option to create it with different access levels. Okay, like for example, open, you have an open workspace. So this workspace is open to anyone. They can open and see what is happening inside it. So the things like, if you have an HR team, HR workspace, or like sales engineering workspace, not sales but engineering workspace. So it, the workspace that should be open to everyone, you can keep it as open workspace. When somebody or some member view this workspace and they are not part of it, what they can see is join and open. So there is a button says join and open. You can directly click on it and you can go into workspace. The second is by request. By request means you need to request to join in. So when you request it, an org member will get a workspace member will get a request saying that, okay, I wanted to join it. When they approve it, then you will join it. So the button that will be visible on the workspace is request to join. The third type is invite only. So invite only means somebody who is member of the workspace will actually invite you. Then only you will require. Then only you will get in. Difference between the two is, by request is you want to join it on their demand, but invite only is you wanted people to be in on uh, the one who is inside the workspace or who is inside the that department, right? So this is the basic difference between it. um, the invite again requires, let's say, I'm the member of the workspace. So if I wanted to invite someone, then I need admin approvals to invitation, right? Or admin authorize me to invite someone. There are two things that can be done. The fourth is hidden. So this hidden is, let's say, maybe your company is acquiring some other companies, or they were trying to merge into other organization, which something they don't want you to know right now. So, but you wanted few people or few leadership team in your organization wanted to collaborate. So that kind of workspace can be hidden workspace, right? We call it hidden workspace, and you cannot view it or see it anywhere into your system. You cannot search it as well. Okay. Hmm. Okay, so these are the access level that we have. So you can just, when you create the workspace, creation of workspace is a hands-on activity. We are not doing it right now, but we'll definitely do it at some point of time. So as soon as you do it, you can create the workspace. Now after creation of the workspace, what you need is creation of channels, then putting user into it. So now we are moving into that part, like how we can create a channel, what are the different channels, and how you can put user into it. Okay. So we are talking about that in channel and user group. In channel and user group, we'll talk about channels. What are the different channels that are available, and what are the different user groups? What actually is user group? Okay. So this is how channels look like. If you see a channel into a Slack workspace anywhere, you will see it with hash. Okay, so every channel will have a name called hash, not always hash. I'll let you know that it is what is the meaning of having different kind of prefixes. Okay. Okay, so there are three different type of channels I'll talk about. There are more, but I think these are the only three that you need to know about. So there are public channel, private channel, and Slack Connect channel. Public channels are those channels. Okay, I'm talking about channels in a workspace. So public channel are those channels which can be accessed by anybody. So like anybody can go click on the channels. Like maybe if I'm not a part of it, even I can see a channel there, and I can request for its membership as well. So channels like help decks, IT, or maybe if you wanted to, if a company wanted to have feedbacks from everyone, or if something is getting released, a project release maybe. So these kind of channels are public channels, and that can be seen as hash. Okay. Then there are private channels that are related, that are very specific. So let's say if there are projects in your works, or in your, let's say, in engineering, you have a project which which only wanted to have few people. Okay. You can make it private channels, so nobody can view it. Okay. They can always get into it by invite, or maybe by request. Okay. So you can see a channel with a lock button. You must be invited to view the channels, okay, by workspace admin, or somebody from channel as well can request, but that needs an approval from workspace admin. Okay. Or maybe a channel manager also can do it. Okay. The third one is Slack Connect channel. Now, this is very important channel. I generally saw this Slack Connect channel with um, various different organization right now is actually inviting other partner organizations. For example, let's say there is a big enterprise and they wanted their partners to collaborate with them. What they can do is they can create a Slack Connect channel, where people from other organization also can talk into a single channel, and people from the host organization. So there is an host organization, and then there is a invited organization. So the host is the one who is hosting that channel in their Slack workspace, and invited is the one who are invited from the host organization. What they can do is they can collaborate. They can from each side they can create, they can onboard the members. uh, but it's like a shared channel which anybody can, different partners or maybe collaborator are talking about. Okay, the Slack Connect channel, if you can see here, the host org and invited org. So host can invite lot of organization. They can remove the organization as well. Like, let's say I don't want this organization to be part of my Slack Connect channel, I should remove it. Okay, now let's say if an organization, like if there is Slack channel but then there is no collaboration, there is no organization outside organization people, that what will happen is that channel for the host organization is continued like a public channel. And for the invited member, if they're not part of it, they can even see it, but they can see the read only version of it, right? But when they are collaborating, what they can do is, uh, every organization can create their own policies. Every organization can invite more members to it. Invited org will have their own app. Invited org will have their own integration. They can have their own set of emojis. Host will have an own set of emojis. But the only thing that you need to know right now is, when there is no collaboration, a host will have this channels to be like that their public channel, and invited all will have their own read only version. Okay, the third is user groups. So you can create a group of users, saying that, let's say, team of HR, right? You don't wanted to create a channel, but then you wanted to create a group of users. So that group of user is known as group of user group, right? So for example, when you are creating a new channel, you wanted to onboard whole channel, whole user group, or a group of bunch of people. You can create a user group and then onboard them, okay, at any point of time. So it's even you can mention them, like you can let's say if you created a user group of a department, okay, a role, let's say HR. So you can directly, somebody, if I wanted to talk about all the HR, so it's if you are analogous to, if you wanted an analogy, you can analog it to like a queue, okay, in a Salesforce. So let's say when you mention them, by at the rate and then HR, everybody will get a notification, right? If they have if they have any administrative roles, somebody from them can pick it up and then um, do the job as well. So it's a way to communicate multiple members at once. Yep. Gaurav, do we have any question right now? Okay, okay. So we actually we have seen workspaces, we have seen channels. Now we are moving into user life cycle management, where how you can put a user in a channel or in a workspace, right? So when we talk about the user life cycle management, we'll talk about how we can authenticate user, how we can create user account, and how we can deactivate user account, right? So authentication means, so let's say if you log into the Slack, the first thing that you do is you put your credential and then you log in into the system, right? This is one way of doing it. But then when we talk about the enterprise kind of enterprise level Slack or enterprise grid plan, they will have a different user provisioning and deprovisioning kind of system. So I'll talk about provisioning, deprovisioning. Okay, so there are two options how you can access Slack on the regular basis. So first is your stored credentials. You have your stored credential like username and password. You log in into Slack and that's it. You are into the organization. Second is single sign on. So if if anybody of you who have joined this session might have working in, in clouds, right? So you will have a different kind of SSO logins like Okta, maybe LastPass. You have seen single sign-ons, maybe you have seen single SSO done from the Google accounts, or maybe Okta. These are the simple identity providers. So there are different identity providers who can enable Slack as well. When I talk about identity provider, there are this is I wanted you to know about it. Like, identity provider are those who provides or authenticate you to get into the Slack, or I would say service provider. Right now, service provider is Slack. So there is a called identity provider, and there is a term called service provider. So service provider is someone who provide a service to it in form of emails, collaboration, content management. Here we are talking about Slack. And then you have an identity provider who provides your identity. So uh, understand it like, let's say if you wanted to get into a festival, okay, a group, a concert, right? So either you can directly buy a ticket, or you know somebody who enable you to get into the concert by coming with you and saying to the people who are getting into your concert, saying that, okay, I authorize this guy to be in the system. So that authorizing guy is an identity provider, okay. And the simple examples are LastPass, Okta, Login, Azure. So sometimes in a bigger organization, the users are into only one identity provider. Generally, Azure. I've seen Azure as a or Google Workspace as a place where user will be stored. And if they wanted to get into Slack, or maybe sometimes Salesforce as well, so a user will be provisioned into the service providers, okay. So identity provider, we are talking about Google Workspaces, Azure, and all. Now, to the Slack, we there's a single simple workflow that I generally follow, or I've seen as an admin you need to follow this. Let's say if you wanted to create a user account, okay, now you need to see what are the possibilities. So this is what we are talking about, best practices. So let's say I wanted to create a Slack, right? So first question that I need that I'll ask is SSO enabled or not? If SSO, then what I'll do, I'll either tell my admin to invite the people, or I want people to sign up from their emails. So let's say I'm an organization and I've given them their email address. So certainly, like me, so I am working in an organization called Pricel. So I will have my own email address, right? So at the admin will let me enable into, let me get into use Slack by authorizing or creating a user, maybe creating a Slack user by signing up with my company email address, or somebody from Slack admin, or a Slack admin will invite me, so that I'll get an invitation on my mail and then I sign up. If my SSO is not enabled, if let's say my SSO is enabled, then there are two things that are available. Yes, you can do email sign up again, but then there are two things that I want to talk about is GIT and SCIM. GIT is just in time provisioning. I'm sure that everybody who did an SSO, so let's say just try it on your own as well. You can try it on your own as well. Like, if you go into Slack, and let's say if an SSO is enabled, or if any other service provider, you first log in, and there is a prompt saying that, do you wanted to continue with Google? So you continue with Google, right? Then you put your email address, or put your Google email address, and there will be user created getting information from that identity provider, right? Now, what is happening there is a just-in-time provisioning. Means, as soon as you log in from an SSO or from a identity provider, your user will be created into Slack or service provider, and you will get into it. You will get into the Slack or your service provider. That is something we call as just provisioning. The problem with the just-in-time provisioning is, let's say I wanted to get more fields from my identity provider. Like, let's say in my identity provider, I have put role as well, I have put department as well, I have put other fields as well. So what if I wanted to own a user with the help of SSO, but I also wanted to onboard him directly to a channel which correspond to its role, or which correspond to, let's say I've given him as an admin role, so I wanted him to be directly as an admin to a workspace when he moves into my service provider. So that is something I cannot do with git, so I'll use scim api. So there are different apis that are available, and that are available with Slack, and it is only available in enterprise git plan. So you can use scim to get your user into the Slack with help of with some custom field as well. Now this process is known as provisioning. We are provisioning the user from a service identity provider to a service provider with the help of scim api. You can even deprovision as well, like from scim api you can remove from the service provider as well. So this is what provisioning and deprovisioning means, available with the scim apis. Okay, and that is available directly to Slack. Okay, email signup is again the third. Even if the sso is enabled, you can a person can sign up through email as well. Okay, now, how you can deactivate? So, a deactivation is very easy. Like you can deactivate manually. An org admin or a workspace admin can deactivate directly by going into user and deactivate it. A workspace admin or a Slack admin an org admin also will have a dashboard where they can do a bulk deactivation as well. And then there is an SCM API which we just talked about, where you can deprovision directly through APIs. Okay. The last topic that I wanted to talk about is security. Now, this is a very big topic, but I just wanted to briefly talk about it. If possible, we'll talk about it in a different session where we'll talk more and more about what Slack provides and what are the different security modules that are available in Slack, where you can do a lot of security on your mobile. So let's suppose you all guys know about how you can jailbreak a mobile, yeah, right? You can broke a mobile, you can customize its ROM. Right? Now, what if I don't want my Slack to be used on the mobiles which have a custom ROM or who are broken or jailbroken, right? So for that, there are different features are available in enterprise grid plan, where and which we call as enterprise mobile management, EMM. But that's a big topic that we can talk about, like different features on mobiles or desktops, even security. What if somebody, let's say we have moved somebody from their organization, but still he's accessing our important documents, right? Maybe we didn't have deprovisioned him, but he's out of the organization, he's into different organization, but he is talking to our users and taking the data. Maybe he's exporting the files, maybe he's downloading the files. Now what I can do is with the features like e-discovery app, I can check, or maybe audit logs, I can check what that user did, right? So these kind of features are available as a Slack security features, but I just briefly summarize it because of the time constraint. I'll not talk much about it. The thing that I want to talk about is internal security architecture. So what secure the different things that they also provides to be with a third party, right? So Slack has an encryption at rest and in transit, means even if they are at your messages are stored, they have an encryption, and even if you are transit, means if you are talking to someone, that is again and nobody from the Slack team can view what you. They have a network security hardening. That means that their testing and development at different place, and their production infrastructure at different place, so that they cannot play with you. They are not playing with your data, right? Whatever they have, they are not keeping your network busy. They are doing everything at a uh, different security, the different servers, right? Administrative access control means even the Slack employees are having multi-factor authentication, 2FA. Then they have means they are all having an administrative access. Uh, Means somebody from even the Slack employees are also adhering to all the controls, so that they cannot take your data out of it. Okay. Then they have system monitoring, logging, and alerting. Means whatever is happening. Um, Everything is getting logged, everything alerted if something is happening some at place. They have the retention disposal. So that means that if you delete data from your server, they are not keeping them somewhere else. Okay, they are just they also delete it after 14 days. Data also gets into soft delete first, and then you can permanently delete 14 days. So you are not keeping data even if you delete it. Your current production systems will all the data will hard deleted once you also, even backups are also destroyed. So what if you wanted to retain the data? What if you wanted to have your data? So then they provide party integration where you can back up all the data. They have data loss prevention system enabled, e-discovery APIs, everything, so that you can uh, give your data or place your data at some backup systems or third party system. They always have third party validations, means there will be audits. Slack is auditing all features maybe thrice a year, or twice a year, so that they will have an external validation, a certificate saying that okay, you are compliant to it. Okay. And the last thing that I wanted to talk about, so why I'm saying this is the last thing, is because uh, there are a lot that can be talked on the security, but I don't think the time allows now. So to control and identity, your identity and access, they have custom sign-on, they have custom session duration, so that since you're working on it, but then let's say you left your desktop or left your mobile, after some point of time you'll automatically get out of it. Or maybe let's say if you're working on your mobile gets stolen. So after some point of time, if you have a session duration, automatically get log out of your system on inactivity, means on inactivity. If you're not if you're inactive for a certain period of time, you can be out of the Slack, your Slack login, your Slack. Then there are two-factor authentication, saying you, even if you are logging in, you can have two-factor authentication where you will have a mobile code, you will have an authenticator app, or maybe key loggers, which can help you to logging into by having a code or a mobile where you can two-step process. This is two-step process. You have user and group provisioning. So in business plus and enterprise grade, you can provision your group, that we talk about by just in time or SAM API. You can do user and group provisioning. Domain claiming, it's an where you can claim your own document. Like for example, if I want my organization to be prices dot, I can do it, but that is only available on enterprise grid plan. The and domain claiming is not something I can claim my domain, but I can also control who will sign in onto my system. Like, so let's say if I claim a domain saying that prices.com is my domain, so anybody who will log in should have a prices domain email address, right? So this is what domain claiming is. Okay. So these are all security. We talked about workspace, we talked about channels, user provisioning, deprovisioning. So this is session we have, and I just summarize it on a high level, saying that what are the different things available on Slack. No hands-on right now, but we'll definitely plan a hands-on in the future sessions. Okay. Thank you, folks. I talked a lot. If you guys have any question, let me know. I can answer your question as much as I
So
can.
thank you
Yeah.
so much, Prakash. We only have like two questions in the chat. One is from the Jitendra. Like, can you repeat the difference between channels and the user groups?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so channel is where we certain people collaborate and talk about a certain activity or feature. So let's say if you have a project saying that you are working on a project for 6 months of time or 3 months of time. So everything like files, you're sharing a files, you're talking. Maybe you wanted to share an email, you wanted to share an activity or something, you can create a channel. User group is a group of users. So you're just creating a group of users so that they can used somewhere else for mentioning or to communication. Uh, you can create a channel with the user group if you wanted to talk a lot, but if you wanted to mention them somewhere, you can create a user group. Any other question? Okay, let me read out. Gaurav, with JIT, do history will be lost after session?
Yep.
No. Yeah, JIT is just-in-time provisioning, Gaurav. If I'm not sure. Okay, Gaurav Kaushal is asking, can you export chat with yourself? Suppose you no, you cannot export chat with yourself. If you have a particular role that has been assigned by org admin or workspace admin, then you can do it, but you cannot do it by yourself. Your chat you can export. Gaurav Yadav, are you asking about just-in-time provisioning?
Gaurav, can you respond us if your question is clear? A question on chat history.
Chat history will be there. I don't think chat history will be deleted after you being logged out, because that's a kind of data that will be there. um, Chat history will be there. So if you're talking about chat history, you can even search uh, for a chat that you did, uh, and that all depends upon the retention policies you have. So if you are on a uh, enterprise grid plan, you can have a custom retention policy as well, where you can say, okay, after 90 days nobody can see my chat, or nobody can see their histories, right? So that depends on custom retention policies. If you're talking about the histories, that completely depend upon the custom retention policies.
So,
Uh,
uh,
yeah, go.
we haven't heard. Like, guys, if you have any questions, you can go ahead and put it in the chat. Otherwise, we can move on to the next part, a small quiz. Can the Prime admin view? Deepak, can you elaborate your question a little bit? Prime admin view the messages of the users.
Are you talking about org admin or workspace admin?
For admin.
Yes, they can view. Org admin can view the message activities. So your boss can read your messages if he is org admin.
Deepak, let me know if your question is cleared. Okay. Thank you, Deepak. Thank you for asking the questions. I'm glad. So, guys, if you guys are ready for a small quiz, I know it's over the time a little bit. You can type in the chat that if you are ready for the quiz, just say yes is enough. Okay, sounds good. So, perfect. Thanks. Thanks for the prompt response, guys. I really appreciate that. So, I was wondering, since we are just like 11 people in the session today, so I'm assuming if I'm going to post a question in the chat, and the first one, for the first person who answers it, gets the swag. Okay. So, it's like you are just like 11 people competing with each other. I hope it's okay. Yeah, works. All right, all right. So this question, so just gonna give you a hint. This question is related to Slack, okay, and something related to the leadership team. Another hint for you. So I'm gonna just put the question in the chat. Make sure you will be the first one to reply the right answer, and so that I can forward it to the team and get you a swag. Okay. So I'll be posting the question in like three, two, one. So you guys are ready? Okay. Posting the question now. Get ready with your fingers just to type the right answer. So yeah, that's the question. Okay. Got a response. Okay. Okay. Chetan says Daniel Dresser. Okay. Danis. Okay. All right. All right. Stuart Butterfield. Gaurav, like Stuart Butterfield. He was the former CEO of Slack, but he's not the current CEO. I really appreciate you guys responding so quickly. I'm amazed that you know. So, okay, the first answer came from the Latasha. Then there is the second one from Vedant. So, Dennis Treser is the right answer. He's the current CEO of the Slack. So, Latasha, you can reach out to me personally. You can send me your email for that, so I can get you a swag. And the other two swags will get to those people who will be posting on the LinkedIn and Twitter. So I'll pick one person from the LinkedIn and I'll pick the another one from the Twitter. So I thought you guys might have posted while the session was going on the LinkedIn and Twitter, so that I can reach out to you. And for the winners for LinkedIn and Twitter, I'll get back to you by the end of the day today. Well, all right, guys. Like that's what us from our side today, and hoping to if you guys are in Jaipur, so we are planning to have an upcoming in-person event in Jaipur. So if you guys are active on the Slack community, let's see you in Jaipur soon. We will be planning the event in the May probably. So hoping to see you everybody there, and thank you so much, guys. It means a lot for me to see you guys joining us today. It really means a lot, and looking forward to seeing you in the upcoming events. Thank you so much. And for the LinkedIn and Twitter winners, I'll reach out to you by the end of the day today, and I'll announce it, publicly on the LinkedIn and Twitter as well. So you will get a notification. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much, Prakash, for this amazing session today. I
Thank you.
I think our audience really enjoyed it. They had questions, so we got a good understanding today about Slack. I really appreciate your time for giving us today. Thank you for like presenting us in the Jaipur Slack chapter.
Thank you. Thank you, Gaurav. Thank you.
Thank you, Prakash. Thank you, everyone, guys. With that, we call it a day. Have a wonderful Friday and the rest of the weekend. Thank you so much.